Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of Discussions with the Social Worker. Today's guest is Chanel Johnson, Miss Michigan USA 2020. Chanel shares her experiences of being a probation officer and her journey to the Miss USA stage. Chanel Johnson is a graduate of Wayne State University, where she earned her degree in criminal justice. Chanel currently serves as a probation officer for the Michigan Department of Corrections and has combined her career, uplifting spirit, and passion for youth to promote positive behavior in an effort to combat juvenile delinquency rates. This mission has taken the 26-year-old to various schools, juvenile detention centers, and community organizations to enlighten youth on the impact that their behavior can have on their future and society. When she is not in the office, Chanel can be found at a spin class or cycling in one of Michigan's beautiful state parks. Chanel believes that by simply giving a little more love and positivity, you can change the trajectory of a person's life. Please welcome Miss Michigan USA 2020, Chanel Johnson. Hey y'all, it's Sarah, the social worker, and today I have an awesome guest. Her name is Chanel Johnson, and she is also Miss Michigan USA. We're so excited to have her here today, and she's going to talk a little bit about her journey in pageants and also her job as a probation officer. Thanks for being here, Chanel.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share with you guys a little bit about myself and a bunch of other things too.
So Chanel, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what your job is like?
Well, as a probation officer for the Michigan Department of Corrections, it's my job to really just help an individual reach their fullest potential, to sum it up. So a lot of times someone who is sentenced to a crime, they will end up on probation. And so that individual will come to me and we'll basically set out a plan for them to complete. And it'll be a range of things. Sometimes it'll be substance abuse treatment. Sometimes it'll be obtaining their high school diploma or their GED. Sometimes it's me helping them find a job. Really just trying to get someone who has maybe lost their way back on track so that they can be the absolute best version of themselves for the future.
That's wonderful. I think sometimes we see on TV and it's like, oh, probation officers, like they're out to get you. But in reality, you're really there to help.
Yes, absolutely. And I had this conversation recently. The media and movies have really made it seem like probation officers are just strict and they just want to hinder you from success and they're just out to get you. But that really is not the stereotypical probation officer in my experience. We're really out here to help people, essentially. So
you guys are kind of bend in the same boat as the social workers are, like, oh, social workers are going to take away our kids and everything else. So it's really sad, but I'm so happy to meet you. See how you are shining a positive light on the field. How did you get into this field? What made you want to become a probation officer?
Well, I've kind of always known that I wanted to obtain a career that would allow me to help people. 10 years ago, didn't know what that would be, but I knew that's the route I wanted to take. So I found myself in the criminal justice program at Wayne State University. And a lot of the classes that I was taking really emphasized the problems within the criminal justice system. And so that really stuck with me. So when I graduated from Wayne State, I decided to obtain a career in corrections, which took a while, but finally happened. I got the job as a probation officer. And ever since then, I've just been on this journey, trying to expand my knowledge about those problems within the criminal justice system and to provoke some change for those problems for our future. I also have my personal reason for wanting to become a probation officer and work within the criminal justice system, and that's my older sister. She was actually sentenced to prison a few years ago as a first-time nonviolent offender, and that really bothered me. And so I thought, you know what, I have to be a part of something that will allow me to provoke some change for our future.
Thank you for being so
Mm-hmm.
honest about
Yeah.
that story.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of talked a little bit, and I've read your bio. It seems like you're really active in the youth and juvenile communities, and really talking about how behavior will impact their future. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so as a probation officer, I am not a juvenile probation officer. I work with mainly adults, but I also write pre-sentence investigation reports. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a biography of a person. It talks about their substance abuse history. It talks about their parents' substance abuse history. Anything you need to know about a person, you're going to find it in their pre-sentence investigation report. And so what I've learned while writing these, and studies show this as well, is that people who have had lack of opportunity, lack of resources, lack of information when they were young, many times they'll grow up and find themselves trapped within the criminal justice system. And so all of this relates to me going into schools is because I have found that people who I supervise may have experienced, lack of information, lack of opportunities when they were young. And they are, sitting in front of me on a monthly basis because they cannot seem to, find their way out of the criminal justice system or find a better path. And so I made it my mission to go to schools and go to juvenile detention facilities to try and encourage our youth to be the best version of themselves and give them those tools that they need, so that we can change the narrative for so many youth in the future.
And you're in a perfect position to do that right now, not only as Miss Michigan, but also as an educated woman and who has experience in the field. And I think that's so beautiful. So thank you for helping out those little ones to give them a better future.
Yes.
How have you kind of married your career and pageants together? I mean, being a former pageant contestant, I know it's hard to hold down that 40-hour-a-week job and prep. So what are you doing to keep it all together, but also stay on track with your mission?
Breathing exercises. Number one. Two, it's really hard. I mean, this past September, winning Miss Michigan USA was my very first pageant. I had never competed in a pageant prior to that. And so preparing for Miss USA, that's going to be my second pageant. There's still so much that, maybe I don't know, that I'm learning, that I'm trying to get acclimated to while I still have to do my job. So it has definitely been a struggle, but I think that I am learning how to balance everything. I've got 2 calendars. I've got one in my phone. I've got an actual paper calendar book. And just really trying to stay as organized as possible. I think one of the most important things you can do when you're preparing for a pageant, what I've learned, is to stick with your schedule. And to always, if you said on Monday you're going to work out and then you're going to practice your questions and then you're going to study your walk, you got to do that on a Monday. No procrastination has been taking place. So really just trying to stay on schedule and, just trying to make sure my mental is clear, and enjoying this experience. I mean, you can't forget to enjoy the experience. That's the most beautiful part about it. So, yeah.
Well, I'm very proud of you. And you
Thank you.
That's really important about staying organized, whether you're a competitor or a professional. I think, like you said, having a calendar and sticking to what you said will not only make sure that you're getting stuff done, but also helping you create those healthy boundaries to give yourself time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I wasn't very good at doing that in the beginning. I was really stressed, actually. But over time, especially throughout quarantine, I really had an opportunity to sit down and say, okay, this is what I need to do, and this is how I need to do it. And I think this is going to work. And so far it has. So that's been great.
That's great. And you're also the youngest probation officer in the state of Michigan or in your county?
In my county,
yes. That's still really cool. What is that like,
it is.
being younger than, I guess, some of your clients?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I get that all the time. And they're like, "Are you even old enough to be my probation officer?" And I'm just like, "Yes, I am." Um, but it's been a pretty cool experience. I mean, Oakland County is huge. So to be the youngest one, it has definitely been an experience, a learning experience. To be able to be in an office with people who have been doing this 30 plus years. But I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm so glad that they, saw it in me and that I would be capable of carrying out the duties of this job. And it's been great.
That's awesome. Well, keep
Mhm.
fighting the good fight.
I'm
What
trying.
you're doing great. You're doing wonderful. For somebody who's interested in becoming a probation officer,
Mhm.
what are the steps? What do I need to do to apply for school and then apply for a job? What does that process look like?
Well, a lot of times, someone who's interested in being a probation officer, or even obtaining a career in corrections generally, you will go and get a bachelor's degree in either criminal justice, social work, or political science. Um, I have several coworkers who have degrees in those fields. And usually they would like you to have some sort of case management experience. It doesn't always have to be case management in relation to like corrections, but some sort of case management experience, and that's pretty much all you need. And a good attitude. You're going to be working with the public, you're going to be working with the community. So I think it's really important for you to, just like we talked about earlier, the stereotypes that a lot of probation officers have are like mean and grouchy all the time. You have to really have a positive attitude if you want to be able to have someone trust you and for you to be able to help them. You social worker, so I know that you understand that as well. Patience can go a long way.
Patience is definitely a virtue, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it's something that I feel like I need to tape that on my wall.
Oh
Patience,
yeah.
breathe.
For sure. For
Um,
sure.
yeah, so I just, like you said, just having patience. But thank you for sharing how that
Yeah.
process works. I've
Hmm.
had a background working at public defenders' offices before
Okay.
as a social worker, so I've come into contact with probation officers, but never
Hmm.
really quite clear on how you get to that job. So thank
Yeah.
you for touching on that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Is your platform, is it centered around your current job?
My platform is really just focusing on our youth. Because I've seen firsthand and I've, written those pre-sentence investigation reports that indicate, maybe if this person had the resources and the encouragement and information they needed when they were, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe they wouldn't um, be finding themselves within the criminal justice system over and over again today.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example, actually. I have written a pre-sentence investigation report where this man stopped attending school in the 7th grade. His father passed away due to gun violence. His mother was on drugs. And when I was reading this information and writing this information, I thought he went unnoticed from the 7th grade until, forever. No one ever came knocking on his door to say, so and so hasn't been in school. Where is he? He essentially he couldn't read, he couldn't write, and he had been in and out of the criminal justice system his entire life. And I say that to say, I believe that if we just give a little more time, give a little more attention to our kids, we can really change the trajectories of their lives.
Yeah, and your job
Hmm.
is so important for that, and social workers and teachers being able
Yeah.
to value your role as a probation officer, and
Hmm.
and then being able to have the resources to make sure people don't fall through the cracks like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what can we do, what can viewers do to kind of help continue to promote your platform and create communities where juveniles feel safe, and where they are picking up on good habits to kind of keep them away from the criminal justice system?
I think one of the most important things we can do, especially right now with everything that's going on with COVID, I think we need to really support our nonprofit organizations, because they provide so many free services, excuse me, and so many things to children throughout our communities that could really just change their lives and be so beneficial to them. And actually, recently, I attended a graduation at Alternatives for Girls. It's a nonprofit organization based here in Detroit, Michigan. And they have really placed an emphasis on getting young women on the right path. They provide educational services so that they can obtain their high school diploma. They provide mental health services. They provide housing. They provide them with clothing. And attending this graduation and seeing these young ladies who maybe were not in a good situation, 1 or 2 years ago, and they're going off to, these prestigious schools. I think that's a perfect example of, if we just invest a little time and really support our nonprofit organizations, that we can see so many more kids following in those same footsteps.
That sounds like an awesome organization. I'll make sure to put the link to their organization in the description, so if people are interested in learning more about it, they can go there. So before we wrap up, I always ask 2 questions. So the first question is, what did you take away from today? And then the second question is, what if there's one thing that viewers can take away? What is that? What do you want them to take away from today?
One thing that I learned today is that, and listening to myself talk and speaking with you, that our youth are, extremely important. I mean, you've seen it from a social worker's standpoint, and I've seen it from a probation officer's standpoint. We definitely need to take the time to invest in them. If we want to see positive changes in our future, if we want our kids to grow and flourish and accomplish anything they want in life, we really need to emphasize giving them the attention they need so that they can do those things. Oh, there was one more question.
Yes.
What was the other question?
No, it's fine.
Sorry.
You gave a great answer. I was like, yes, keep telling us. But the second part is, if for whoever's watching today, what is one thing that you want them to walk away with, if nothing else?
Oh, if there's one thing I want them to walk away with, if nothing else, is that you truly can achieve anything that you want to. And this goes for, the youth that I'm talking about. This goes for everyone. And I know we hear it all the time. You can do anything you put your mind to. But I'm sitting here talking to you as an almost 27-year-old probation officer who has never competed in a pageant before, who didn't even know at one point that I was capable of doing such. Sharing with you something that is so important to me, our youth, as Miss Michigan USA. And I think that's a really important lesson in life, that you just have to go for it and don't let anybody tell you you can't.
Perfect answer. I'm so excited to see you compete for Miss USA. Whenever that is, we'll be across our fingers and cheering you on. And again, Chanel, thank you for being with us today. For everybody at home, root for Miss Michigan USA, Chanel Johnson. And don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Discussions with the Social Worker. To stay connected and current with our content, follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, y'all.